This is Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina. Today I want to talk to you just quickly a little bit about water heaters. This is my dog Zach, and this is Meredith. I think they want to be in the picture too. All right, but let's talk about water heaters. This is a 2.5 gallon water heater I use for demonstration purposes because that 50-gallon water heater is just too heavy to carry around. We're going to start from the top to the bottom. This is a Tpr valve. It's a Tpr valve, and here's one that's off of here. This has a spring in it, and what happens is if this water heater malfunctions and it just keeps heating the water, instead of this water heater exploding, that spring will depress and water will come shooting out here. Either, and it says on the tag, either if it gets to 150 pounds per square inch or the water gets to 210 degrees. Now this by code has to be piped down so that it doesn't scald somebody because it's really hot. Tpr valves, very important. Now sometimes over time these things will leak. That spring will get old and they'll leak, so you'll have to replace them. But this is one of the most important things on a water heater. Next thing you notice, see there's a hot and cold. The cold is where the water comes into the water heater and the hot's where it comes out. Now if you could see inside this cold would actually, that tube would go down to the bottom and put the cold water in the bottom, and as it heats, warm water rises and the hottest air comes out. Now, you want to check this to make sure that they didn't reverse these. If they reverse them, the water heater will still work, but you're putting the cold water in the top and pulling warm water from the bottom, which is inefficient. You're going to have to use a lot more energy than necessary. And people compensate for that by turning up the thermostat. Okay, almost done. Okay, like I said, this is an electric water heater. There's basically two types of water heaters that we see in our area, electric and gas. This is an element right here. It has one element. Most water heaters are going to have two because they're going to be larger than this. The way you test the element, and I've taken the cap off, you'll see the water heater like this, and you'll take that cap off. Now, the way you're going to test the element, it's just like it's an element like in a light bulb. First, I'm going to take the wires off because it would feed back through the wires, through the box. But if this lights up, that means the element's good. Did it light up, Sarah Margaret?
Yes.
Okay. So that element's good. It better be good because I've never used it. Now, I want to show you what that element looks like. Don't ever do this at home because water will come out. But when you pull it out, that's what the element looks like. And that heats up, guys, and that heats the water for your water heater. That's what heats it up. Now, there's a little thermostat, Meredith. You see that little thermostat? What number does that say?
25.
125. That feels good if it's 125. You get too much hotter than that, it's going to burn you. Most water heaters will go somewhere between 90 and about 150. You don't want to get much hotter than that because some of the newer pipes aren't made to handle it. Plus, it would scald you. Okay, last thing on a water heater is this is the drain, Meredith. And you can, you could hook a water hose up to that, and you could drain your water heater if you wanted to. But the one thing you want to do about every, 2 years or so is hook a hose up to it and drain it. And when you first, not drain the water heater, but just drain a little bit. When the water first comes out, Sarah Margaret, it's a little bit dirty until it gets clear. And what you're doing is draining the sediment out of the bottom. Okay. One last thing, and then turn it back on, and that prolongs the life of your water heater. One thing I failed to mention, you can't see it, but inside water heaters an anode rod. An anode rod attracts the sulfur in the water, and instead of the sulfur attacking the tank, it attracts to the anode rod. If that anode rod goes bad, you'll get a sulfur smell every time you turn on the hot water. And it smells, you know what sulfur smells like? Rotten eggs. Is that a good smell, Meredith?
No.
So Mark, you like rotten egg smell?
No.
That's a sulfur smell. You've got a bad anode rod. Last thing, if you did have a gas water heater, you would check the burner down here to make sure there's no corrosion, and you'd have to have a carbon monoxide detector. All right, well, this has been Preston Sandlin talking to you about water heaters today. I hope everybody got something out of this. Everybody say bye, guys.
Bye.